The following is a special presentation of KDOW. Money Pulse. Monitoring the heartbeat of money. From Wall Street to Main Street to your wallet. Now here's your host, Dynasti E Young.
Welcome back to Money Pulse Business of the Week. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Ian Gilyeat, founder of I.R Gilyeat Company, a consulting firm specializing in customer acquisition and retention using advanced conversational tools. Ian, thanks so much for joining me today.
No, I am happy to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Let's start off with, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Ian, and a little bit about I.R Gilyeat Company?
Sure. I've spent most of my career in marketing, and that's in the harder skills of marketing, like direct response, cataloging, e-commerce. And then I also have an IT background. And so I went out on my own with my company in 2008, and we've been consulting with a variety of companies from Fortune 500s to smaller companies in the 10 million plus range. And then we've been involved more recently with some startups. We spent a lot of time in CRM and marketing automation and conversational technologies like SMS text messaging, integrating those systems. Lately, we've been migrating more into software development. Lead Sticker would be a good example of that, which is built for conversational SMS. And then most recently, we're developing AI Truth Teller, which is in AI detection.
So tell us a little bit about Lead Sticker and what makes it different from all the other SMS services out there.
And typically what you receive is a broadcast email that is promotional in nature, and you cannot respond to it in order to talk to anybody. It is just a one-to-many blast that goes out. And in the email world, historically, that's just been referred to as junk mail. As marketers have become more adept at using SMS messaging, they've adopted much of the same mentality. We can send it to as many as we want. A small percentage will respond, and then you have the automated triggers that are based off of dates for insurance or subscriptions. So it's typically sent out so that in a broadcast message, but you don't have this one-to-one conversation that happens. And so Lead Sticker is built so that you can have conversations in large scale. So let's say you have an automotive dealership and you've dropped your car off and they want to give you an update, and they can send you an update to 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 people, and those auto owners will get to it when they want to and when they can, and they'll respond back to that the technician at the dealership, and they'll be able to have a one-to-one conversation, which would be one example. Lead Sticker has automation built around it so that you can trigger things, and you can do the automated follow-up, and you can build all of the customer journey conversations and broadcasts, and it has imaging, but it's also integrated with voice over IP. The real core of it is to be able to, for one person, a marketing manager, to send to a body of people. Let's say that you're a community organizer, you're an activist, and you want to send out to 500 people and have everybody show up, at a location for an event, but the people want to respond to you and have a conversation with you. They have questions, and you can have a conversation with, 25, 30 different people over the course of time. All of the conversations are recorded. You have a complete history of the conversational log, whether that's via text or whether that's over audio. And then also we've built AI into it so that if I am dealing with a technical subject, then I can manually have AI respond to that conversation as well, and then I can edit it and send it out to the user.
How can we find more information about Lead Sticker?
Well, it's on our website at irgilyeat.com. We also have a separate website for it at leadsticker.com. We tailor it to individual companies. For example, pest control is an industry where we've deployed multiple instances, and we also have done some deployments in automotive and some other places, real estate, et cetera.
For the automotive, for example, what kind of messages are you sending out, and what kind of messages are you receiving back from the users?
In the automotive, it's primarily around dealerships and repair and management of that conversation with the car owner. You're going to send it out to 3 or 4 or 5 people. They're going to respond back. You're going to give them the automotive technician is going to give an update on the status. We take a look at your car. We found the following problems. How do you want us to proceed? Do you want to repair the following items, or do you just want to do the one and save the other 3 for later? And you can do that for, a dozen people all at once. Like most of the common ones out there, you have personalization. You can address the person by their first name or, first and last or whatever you'd like to address them as. You can include images if you'd like to include pictures. You can, trigger it if you want to have an event triggered text message that goes out. But when they respond, it comes back to you individually, and you have an opportunity to have a conversation. Where we've seen that most successful with scale is in nonprofits and community organizations. So you want to bring 100 people together and you send it out, and inevitably some of those folks are going to have questions. They're going to want to make comments. They want to have discussion. And so that's a one-to-one conversation that's private, even though you've initiated it, in a larger body of people.
But there's a lot of advancements going on in this space.
The part that we're really excited about is the integration of AI with it.
Yes, I have some questions about that. I did read a blog of yours recently. It was talking about the challenges of distinguishing between, am I talking to a human? Am I talking to a bot? I just wanted to know what led you to write about this topic, and why is it important in businesses today?
Well, there's a couple of reasons that led me down that path. One is that in one of our consulting engagements, we were negotiating pricing for supply management. And after about 2 or 3 questions, it became very obvious that it was an automated process and there was not a real person on the other end. So we immediately backed out of that. So that would be one event within a business-to-business setting. The second thought that came to mind was a bid that we put together recently for SMS to a human resources department, where they wanted to engage in SMS on a 2-way conversational basis with applicants. And so from an applicant standpoint, I'm not sure if I'm talking to a HR manager that's doing recruiting, or if it's a large organization and I'm being filtered and screened by an automated agent or an automated bot. The third place where it came to mind was in our own lead sticker implementation. When customers are having conversations with their customers and they're using the AI function, it is a blended response. And so they can be typing in their own response with the other user, and then they can insert AI based off of the conversation that has occurred over the last day or 2 or weeks, and it will add the AI detail to it. And then you can edit it, so the user can edit it. And so the response going back to the end user is a blended response between AI and what the user has put in themselves. That becomes extraordinarily difficult to detect. And then when you're online and you're, dealing with various customer service agents, you just don't know what you're going to get. One of the companies that we deal with in the Philippines, they're in the process of building call center agents that are completely automated based off of AI in order to replace the live people that will be in the call center.
Wow, this is our future.
Well, it's going to be a challenging environment, yes.
You created this AI truth teller.
Yes.
Which now sounds like black and white is hard to detect, especially when the results are gray.
Especially when it's blended, yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about what that has looked like for you.
Well, we're early in the process. The initial version has been released as a Chrome extension that was released last month. We're planning to release our mobile app next month, which will run on Apple and Android devices. The initial Chrome extension was online bots only, or so anything that you can drop into a chat window, basically. So when you're online and you're dealing with online customer service, you can copy that chat conversation and drop it into the drop-down window that's the Chrome extension, and it will then detect whether it's AI or whether it's a live person. The mobile app version will add email as well as imaging, and so it will be a much more robust product for the mobile environment.
So if we wanted to download this Chrome extension as of right now, can we find that extension and how can we download it? Is it on your website?
It is. It is on our website at irgilyeat.com under the central menu of AI Truth Teller.
Okay.
Yeah, that's IRGILYEAT.com.
So if our listeners are interested in more information or if they want to test out this new AI Truth Teller, how it works and seeing what results come from it, they can go to I.R Gilyeat, GILYEAT.com.
Yes.
And download it, check it out.
So let me give you an example of why this one becomes interesting on a broader scale.
Please.
You're familiar with Reddit?
Yes.
So not too long ago, there was a university that unleashed 1,700 AI bots into Reddit to see what kind of response they would have. So, if you're in Reddit and you're interacting with other members, other users, now you have to figure out whether you're talking with a bot or whether you're talking with a real person.
Yeah, and that could be very important on so many different levels, especially depending on the topic, right?
Yes. Yep, that's correct. And then as we watch customer service and AI agents in the call centers evolve and progress over the coming years, as consumers, many people will have a difficult time knowing whether or not they're talking to a real person or not.
And it's only getting more difficult to tell. We have live chat, we offer as a service for our customers. And a lot of the time people are like, are you a robot or are you a person? And
yes,
it's an actual person saying, my name is Chad and I'm a real person. And even that doesn't, they don't buy it. So.
And here's part of the reason why. If it's a nefarious bot that's trying to hide and so that you don't know, they will answer that I'm a real person. When you ask them when they were born, they will give you a year. When you ask them other personal information, they will give you that information as if they are a live person. It no longer follows the rules that were understood perhaps 3 years ago of how AI would function.
That's kind of crazy.
Yes. So you expect a certain level of honesty. And yet,
yes.
In your large corporations where they tell you, oh, this is AI, that's great. But, not everybody follows by those same rules.
I've learned that actually quite recently on the phone. They got me. Have you guys thought about voice integration?
Yes. We have a long roadmap, a long feature set plan in front of us. It will take time to get everything in that we want to put into it. Certainly voice is one of those important features that will have to be there.
Ethical considerations in business is so huge. Is there more insight you can share with us of kind of what's going on, maybe right under our nose?
My opinion is that AI is going to permeate every aspect of our technology use. My belief is that, and as I watch the market evolve, the large BPO processors are aggressively embracing AI with their agent model, with their outsource model. And it makes sense because it's highly efficient and because the quality of the voice is getting better and better. The quality of the visual representation is getting incredible. I can sit down with no cinematography experience and put together a movie. And so the large companies that have deep pockets, they're going aggressively after this for good reason from a business perspective. If you look at some of the other things that I've written, one of the other questions that I posed a few months back was, when will the call center industry be completely disrupted by AI? It's a large industry with lots and lots of people in seats, on phones all around the globe, in India, in the Philippines, in the US. And that's a part of the economy that is ripe to be disrupted by AI. We're going to be interacting with it on a regular basis. I spoke with an associate. They're in the textile industry, manufacturing carpets, and so this person had been in a factory, and And he's been in the industry for 40, 50 years. Well, he just walked through a factory recently where everything was done by AI and robotics. And there were, a dozen people running the factory where normally it would have had 200 or 300 people. So the efficiency that AI offers in a wide range of industries is truly impressive. I watched a video of, the Gap this morning, and they've implemented a robot for unloading the trucks so in order to prevent injuries to workers. Well, that's great. You got two robots that are unloading a container of packages and boxes and heavyweight things and dropping it onto a conveyor belt to move it into the factory. Very, very efficient, and it prevents injuries. No question that it's advantageous to go after it.
Money Pulse, KDOW's financial news magazine, monitoring the heartbeat of money from Wall Street to Main Street to your wallet. You're listening to Money Pulse on AM 1220 KDOW.
We're back here on the Money Pulse with Ian Gilyeat from I.R Gilyeat Company. Have you guys thought about voice integration?
Yes, we have a long roadmap, a long feature set plan in front of us. It will take time to get everything in that we want to put into it. Certainly voice is one of those important features that will have to be there.
Ethical considerations in business is so huge. Is there more insight you can share with us of kind of what's going on, maybe right under our nose?
My opinion is that AI is going to permeate every aspect of our technology use. My belief is that, and as I watch the market evolve, the large BPO processors are aggressively embracing AI with their agent model, with their outsourced model. And it makes sense because it's highly efficient and because the quality of the voice is getting better and better. The quality of the visual representation is getting incredible. I can sit down with no cinematography experience and put together a movie. And so the large companies that have deep pockets, they're going aggressively after this for good reason from a business perspective. If you looked at some of the other things that I've written, one of the other questions that I posed a few months back was, when will the call center industry be completely disrupted by AI? It's a large industry with lots and lots of people in seats, on phones all around the globe, in India, then the Philippines, in the US. And that's a part of the economy that is ripe to be disrupted by AI. We're going to be interacting with it on a regular basis. I spoke with an associate. They're in the textile industry, manufacturing carpets, and so this person had been in a factory, and he's been in the industry for 40, 50 years. Well, he just walked through a factory recently where everything was done by AI and robotics. And there were, a dozen people running the factory where normally it would have had 200 or 300 people. So the efficiency that AI offers in a wide range of industries is truly impressive. I watched a video of, the Gap this morning, and they've implemented a robot for unloading the trucks so in order to prevent injuries to workers. Well, that's great. You got two robots that are unloading a container of packages and boxes and heavyweight things and dropping it onto a conveyor belt to move it into the factory. Very, very efficient, and it prevents injuries. No question that it's advantageous to go after it.
Our listeners, a lot of them are listening right now, and some of them are really excited. Some of them are probably a little bit scared of what we're talking about, but a lot of them are considering AI integration. Would you have any advice to give to our listeners about integrating AI?
Absolutely. I run into paranoia around AI all the time in conversation with friends and neighbors and other associates and et cetera. And I'm very optimistic on the use of the technology. I believe it will be very advantageous and will yield lots of good things for us. My advice to any business owner is to embrace it. I sat down with a professor at Brigham Young University, and I sat down with him for about an hour and had a conversation. He's in the School of Management, accounting specifically. And, I asked him about AI, and his response was, I tell all of my students that they should use AI on every assignment unless specifically told not to. So now just put that in the context of accounting, because every business has accounting. Every business has to deal with finances. Every business manages cash flow, and they probably manage loan and debts, and they just have a whole bunch of things that they're managing on the financial side. And here's a professor that is telling their students that are coming out of school here in the next short while, everything that you do, you will use AI on it. So as I look forward into the marketplace, if for every business owner, they should be embracing AI no matter what part of the business they're thinking about. We should embrace what tools are available to us. When we moved from, doing math by hand into calculators and then into computers and spreadsheets and predictive models, the people didn't go away. We just changed how we do business, and we organized our thinking a little differently.
You've been in the SMS space for how long, Ian?
15 years.
So you've seen a lot of change.
Yes. I initially started doing integration of SMS with ExactTarget a long, long time ago.
When did you start fiddling with AI in your integrations?
We put AI into Lead Sticker probably 2 years ago.
Thoughtfully so. You did it carefully. It sounds like you've really thought it out.
We made a decision not to automate it. We made a decision instead to make it a manual intervention that the user decides. And so when a message comes in, let's say I'm having a conversation with a microbiologist. I have no microbiology background, but there's an AI engine that's helping me respond to them. Nonetheless, there's a lot of tools there that make it so much easier to have an intelligent conversation or to have a persuasive conversation. Whatever you're talking about, you can become a subject matter expert very, very quickly through the course of a relatively short time. And then the beauty of having it integrated and having a database that remembers all of the interactions, it continues to learn over the course of time. So if you carry on a conversation, for 6 months, wow, you're going to have a really very in-depth discussion because of those tools behind you. And that's why it's very different when you focus on the conversational interactions and the relationships rather than, an event-triggered promotion that goes out that the customers can't respond to. Let's think about it in terms of a salesperson. A salesperson might have 300 contacts or, 100 businesses that they're selling to. They've got a book of accounts and they've got a new product to introduce. They can send a personalized message out to each individual. And then when they respond back, they can have individual sales conversations with every single customer that's private. And yet it gives you, immense capability in the selling cycle in a technical environment. Let's say you have a training department and they have, 1,000 technicians that are out in the field, and the training department has learned something from one of their technicians. They could send a text message out to everybody that's in the field. Certainly they could send it by email. Email, we all know, gets less than a 0.5% response, and it's delayed in the response. Text messaging, on the other hand, people open it and it's 95% plus are going to open within, a couple of minutes, and the responses will be very, very high.
Everyone, this is Ian Gilyeat from I.R Gilyeat Company, sharing so much insight in this world of AI technology and conversational SMS with AI integration. It's been a real pleasure. I can't keep you as long as I'd really love to, but I just want to thank you so much for spending the time with us today and allowing us to ask the questions and just sharing your insight. Thank you so much.
This has been Money Pulse, KDOW's financial news magazine, monitoring the heartbeat of money from Wall Street to Main Street to your wallet.
If you're interested in being on the show, please call me at 408-761-0150. Or you can email me at dynasty@salemsf.com. That's DYNASTIY@salemsf.com. Thank you for listening.